some bad things, some things that we can most certainly correct and control, and some things that we did very well.
You want to give any specifics on those things?
Well, what would you like to know specifically, though, Sam? I mean, it's a very broad question.
What about? Sorry, go ahead.
Good enough. So go ahead. That's what I'm looking for. Is what specifically would you? What part of the ball? What position?
Yeah, on offense and in particular with Sam, that'd be what I'd be curious about.
I thought Sam handled some things very well. You know, there were some really good opportunities we had. He made some real good decisions early in the game. We moved the ball. Unfortunately, we weren't consistent that we needed to be. Whether it was we dropped the ball, whether it was we missed a block, or we got a penalty, and you know, and then we missed a kick. That was disappointing. I mean, at worst, at one point we should have been down 8. It should have been 14-6, you know, something like that. But everything that happened, everything that we did wrong is easily corrected, and that's one of the things that we've got to do. As far as Sam was concerned, as I said, he did some really good things early on. A couple of mistakes. You know, I'd like to see him. You know, he could have gotten rid of the ball sooner. But in the second half, that's the things that we saw that were really positive. You know, was that you saw him make that decision to throw the ball away. You saw him make the decision to be, you know, very forward in terms of just tucking it, running, and sliding. You know, doing those things are starting to, show us the growth that we're looking for in his decision making. That's always good to see. And he threw some really good balls. I mean, the touchdown he threw to Logan was about as good as it could be. The touchdown throw he threw to Terry was as good as it could be. I mean, those are the things that you see because now he's anticipating. He's throwing people to the ball in terms of, you know, the one he threw to Terry, you could almost say he helped throw Terry open into the area that he needed to be. And, of course, it was a hell of a catch. I mean, both his and Logan's were terrific touchdown catches.
Hey, Ron, along with that you talk about the touchdown passes by Sam and the anticipation of that, how much of that is a mindset, too, that a guy has to have? Is that part of what it is, or is that as much a growth thing?
I think it's both. I think the guy's mindset has to tell him that he can go ahead and he can make those plays, and then his ability to anticipate, to see where the defender is. I mean, he obviously saw that Terry was in position to run by these guys, and if he laid it out, Terry would go get it, and that's exactly what I thought happened with Terry's. As far as Logan's was concerned, the one that I saw was, to me, he saw that there was a separation between the two defenders. And so the ball was thrown in front to lead him just into position to catch it. And then, unfortunately, the guy took a shot. But, again, it was a well-thrown ball, a well-timed ball, and I thought the anticipation on that was very good as well.
And then with Brian Robinson, could you accept that he had some low points, I guess, early in the game? It looked like a couple times where there was, running into the back of a lineman for whatever reason. What was going on early that maybe changed late?
I think he one of the things that they've been working on with him is really been just being patient. And, sometimes being patient means to stutter your feet and you can get a little anxious and instead of, waiting for that crease or anticipating that crease developing, he hits it where he probably didn't need to. And I think as he settled in and you saw it later on, he had a couple of really nice runs and you could see him be patient and then hit it. And as he hit it, you could see the separation between the blockers and the creases were there. And part of that was not just his frustration with himself, but, up front, we've got to be consistent as well to give our backs an opportunity to be successful.
Brian, I know you were very anxious to watch the tape on Chase Young. What did you see from Chase? Did he have his explosiveness, and did he remind you of the Chase Young you've known from his rookie year?
Scott, to your point, he did remind me a lot of the things from his rookie year. First of all, he was so excited to get back out on the field. We had to really kind of try to tempo him the best we could. A couple times he popped out there, when it wasn't his time to rotate in. But we try to maintain that with him as good as we can. Secondly, I thought he did show his explosiveness. There were some times where you saw him just flat out win on his own, and the quarterback just barely get the ball out on time. And then you saw his persistence in terms of countering, coming back underneath, and then getting his first sack. that was good to see. And then there were a couple times, especially in the red zone when we needed him and Montez came through together where they met at the quarterback. That was a lot of fun. So you're starting to see him get back into it. I think he's got to work a little bit on his communications with the tackle that he's rushing with, so that, again, hey, I'm gonna go up and under, or I'm coming inside, cover me, and those types of things. So he's got a little work to do, but it's great to see because he is first of all, he's in great shape. He kept himself in great shape. He worked at his craft while he was waiting for his opportunity, and so right now his return to play isn't going to be one of those where you just keep waiting for it to come. I think he's where he needs to be, and he'll just keep getting better, I believe, in terms of his performance and his working with his teammates.
And Ron, from an outsider's perspective, it seems like there's a genuine flood of optimism right now and energy and excitement from this fan base. Do you feel that, and how does that maybe positively impact those players in the locker room?
Well, first of all, just, at the end of the game, just hearing our crowd get in, our fans that showed up get behind us, that was a nice little shot in the arm, a little boost. And the guys do feel it. To me, I also kind of thought, the resilience we showed, in scoring the touchdown, getting the 2-point conversion, then kicking the field goal and coming off on the side. The fans that were there, the Washington Commander fans, I could hear them over the Bronco fans as we were jogging in. You could hear them saying, "Hey, you got it on. You're just touchdown down. Hey, way to come back. Keep it going." And you could hear it. You could hear it in Denver Stadium. I mean, that to me was really telling. That we had some great support there as well.
Hey, Ron, with Chase, how important was it for him to just match that sack total that he had in 2021 to get that out of the way, just kind of match that total, right?
I think I really do, man. I think it was very important. I think it was kind of probably on his mind, and once he got it and got that sack out of the way, his first play, now there's no pressure, there's no expectation or anticipation. Now he just goes out and plays, and that's what I thought he did in the second half. It's one of those things that you want to be able to finish, and he did. He did on his first opportunity out there, playing this past weekend to finish, and walk away with 1.5 sacks. That was pretty damn good for him. I'm very happy because of the amount of work he's put into it, how hard he worked in this off season, how diligent he was doing the things that was being asked of him. This is things bode very well for him in my opinion.
And you guys are bringing in some long snappers on Tuesday. What do you make of Cheese's botch snap, and how many guys are you actually bringing in?
Well, the biggest thing, more than anything else, was a little disappointed in the very first snap. And it's crazy because you go back and look at the rest of his snaps, and they were pretty damn good. And, but this is something we have to do because it can't happen every week because it could cost you a game. It really could have. I mean, part of it is you don't want it to affect anybody else. And if we look at it that, hey, we need to have an insurance policy, if we need to do something, we're going to do it because it's what's best for this football team, and that's what we're looking at. We've talked about some options. One of the options is we're going to have a little information gathering tomorrow. We're going to bring in a few players, give them an opportunity to show us what they're capable of, and we'll take a look and go from there.
Good time for 2 more.
With Cheeseman, he was so consistent last year.
Yeah.
What changed this year?
To be quite honest, it's just his inconsistency, which seems to just show up once in a while. And the thing we can't have is we can't have it show up, because the last thing you want is to have it cost you a point or 2 or 3 that could be the difference in a football game. And that's something that we have to be prepared to protect ourselves against. And as I said, because of that, we had conversations, and we're going to decide on some things and go forward. But again, we're going to do what we really believe is best.
And then
Last one.
with Chase, you mentioned the communications with the tackles, and then I know you've mentioned in the past about the line as a whole, not freelancing. How does that just come with reps and practice and time together?
It does, Nikki. I think it is because you do get reps, you get to work with each other, you communicate. It's also, and Jack does a great job. You know, him and the assistant coaches on defense do a great job in communicating how certain types of rushes are incorporated in some of the coverages, understanding what the coverages are for, being alert and understanding down and distance, you know, recognizing formation and communicating, hey, this is an empty set. Hey, this is a mobile quarterback. You know, you've got the A gap. You've got to be alert for that. You know, I mean, that's all part of what they have to continue to work on and continue to communicate as the game progresses. And the only way you do it is getting those types of reps. You know, for the most part, Chase hadn't gotten any of the padded practice reps for a while. Last week was the first time he got it, and he really showed us that, you know, there were some really good things that he was doing. Come Wednesday, you know, we expect him to have some real good practice reps, communicate really well with one another, and then you know, continue to build up his confidence and develop that rapport you need to be able to work with. Doesn't matter which tackle's in the game or which end's in the game or which linebacker. You just know you're ready to work with everybody.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, guys.